Let's take a bump and talk about TNA. I just finished watching TNA Genesis the other day, and it got me thinking about the good days of TNA, back when it was Impact. Also, kind of leading into TNA was kind of good, but I'll be honest, I miss the days when TNA was great. And these are the days to me where Scott D'Amore was the showrunner for TNA. He was the booker. He was the guy on TV. He was what made that TNA so special. And when he left, it definitely took a drastic drop. And now it's especially evident that we're moving into potentially a worse era of TNA, because we have some of the best names of TNA that made it so great. Josh Alexander, Jordynne Grace, and Mike Bailey all leaving, if not already gone. They, to me, were the main eventers, or the best parts of their divisions in TNA. Josh of the main event, men's main event, Jordynne Grace of the Knockouts, and Mike Bailey of the X division. They were the standouts. Sure, you still have Moose, you still have Trey Miguel, you still have Rosemary. They still have great members of their roster, but a lot of their big names that were special are gone. You know, especially with Motor City Machine Guns, a crucial aspect of their tag division. Look at their tag division now. You have the Hardys as champions, and they might be kind of past their time. You have the Rascals, who are, in my opinion, the best part of the tag division. Chris Bay is out, so that makes ABC no longer a part of the tag division for now. To me, the era that was the best of TNA was when they were, as I used to put it, the lobby of the Forbidden Door. This was when you had people from New Japan coming over a lot. You had crossover with AEW, and essentially, if the reason I called it the lobby of the Forbidden Door, this was around when AEW was starting to open up that Forbidden Door as well. And if you were getting into this Forbidden Door, if you're crossing promotions, you were inevitably crossing over with TNA at some point. And that also included like AAA, you had Hijo del Vikingo. This is when Laredo Kid started becoming involved with TNA, or Impact at the time. Also famously when Kenny Omega had the TNA World Championship. This was what was the appealing factor of Impact. That and the incredible women's division. They had the best women's division of any nationally distributed promotion, not including like the all women promotions in Japan, like Stardom, TJPW, but of any Western promotion. The Knockouts division was the best. You had Tasha Steelz, you had Jordynne Grace, you had Giselle Shaw, Mickie James, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green was such a crucial part of the Knockouts division, I feel like. And when she left for WWE, it felt like, it took a bit of a step back. And then Deonna Purrazzo went to AEW, same deal. And now that Jordynne Grace is gone and Tessa Blanchard is kind of leading the Knockouts division, things are not looking so great. Now, who's main eventing the men's division? Got Moose, but he's the X division. You've got Mike Santana. Sure, he's good, but you don't have a Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. You've got Macklin. Macklin's good, but you're missing that lifeblood. And that's what Josh Alexander brought. Like, he was a standout. And I'm hoping that TNA can, find itself in this new era, but you're missing some big names. You're missing foundation that you had. Josh, Jordynne, and Bailey were the foundation, and now you're at a point where WWE is looking at to hire, to sign, indie wrestlers, to sign bigger not indie names, but bigger wrestlers like the Motor City Machine Guns, like Jordynne Grace. Potentially Josh Alexander, although I would personally like to see him in AEW. I feel like he would thrive more over there than WWE, but it's tougher for TNA now. They can't, hold on to their wrestlers as well. Now that WWE and AEW are both coming for big talent, TNA has had to resort resort to doing the crossover with WWE. Sure, you know, seeing these people cross over is fun, but what will this mean for TNA in the long term? I am very wary, especially now that it's kind of put TNA at a position where they are supposedly equal level with NXT, not the main roster. If this was a crossover with the main roster, then it would feel more like, okay, the value of the TNA roster is the main roster of WWE, but not looking like it. Sure, we have yet to see people like Moose, like Macklin, cross over with NXT, so we don't know how those main event divisions line up. I just wish that this new era of TNA, the post Scott D'Amore TNA, would look at their roster of higher value than NXT, because this is you know, you've got some veteran names in there. Like Mike Santana is a veteran. Macklin is not new to the industry. Giselle Shaw is, you know, she's been doing this for a while in progress. We'll have to see how TNA kind of plays out over the course of the next couple of years, especially with some bigger shows coming up. Like seeing at Genesis that they're going to be at UBS Arena in New York. That's huge. Like that's an arena. And I was at the UBS AEW show, I think the first one that they put on. And that's much bigger than the normal venues that TNA books. I remember being at TNA shows or Impact shows when they were in like auditoriums. I was at a 2300 arena show, and that's not like a, you know, a sports arena. It's small. Hopefully this will be a good moving point for TNA. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. But as long as they're kind of in this partnership with WWE, they're kind of valuing themselves lesser, and they're in the shadow of WWE instead of potentially finding their own niche in the wrestling world and carving their own way like they were with Scott D'Amore. They had what made them special then. One thing that made them special, remember some things that people really talked about. The 1 hour long Iron Man match between Josh Alexander and TJP. New Japan crossing over with TNA. Their legit crossover pay-per-view with New Japan. I believe that was before Forbidden Door started. And then also Joe Hendry being a huge part. And him being the main event, or him being the world champion now, great, amazing, fantastic. I think this is a great sign for TNA. Moving away from Nick Nemeth being world champion. Love Nick Nemeth, but I think Joe Hendry, you know, really deserves it at this point. Will TNA find what makes them special? I don't know. And sure, the big arena shows are good. Nothing reads to me as special. So we'll see. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of TNA right now, or their current state compared to what they used to be at. Do you prefer what they're doing now, or do you prefer how they used to be? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.